Hello and welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb. We are live both on YouTube and on TikTok, talking strictly about Manchester United. A lot has happened. Harry Maguire is about to be stripped of his captaincy. Axel Disasi is re-emerging in Manchester United conversations. The Red Devils are in advanced talks somehow. We spoke about this long time ago, but also we've got some bit of talk about players who are going to be leaving. Of course, Maguire is not yet confirmed, but Fred is in advanced stages of leaving Manchester United. Subscribe to the hotspot. If you are on TikTok and you're not, go on YouTube right now, because on TikTok I'm going to be live for just about 10 or 15 minutes, but we will continue for 1 hour on YouTube. So just join us if you can. My name is Webb. Welcome aboard. Now, guys, there is news that has just come through concerning Manchester United and its transfers, broken by the transfer kingpin, that is Fabrizio Romano. And here's the thing. I'm reading for you his post from about just under 2 hours ago, that Newcastle and Manchester United are both exploring the Disasi deal and no bids yet. Newcastle approached the players' side this week, expected to make contact with Monaco, whereas Ten Hag approved Disasi. If you read our past videos, I think I broke this one, I think on the 8th of June. Talks for weeks on player side, but still waiting for approach with Monaco. Of course, more details will follow. Now, let's get proper into that as you guys keep coming on. Now, Manchester United has certainly been busy in this window. I think since, of course, the first bid that was tabled for Mason Mount, who was eventually signed, you feel that Manchester United has certainly been serious and down to business. Of course, Onana will be done by close of, before the end of this week. We know that Onana will be done. So United is now focused on to the next players. The Atalanta forward, that is Rasmus Højlund, is also one United is sure they will be signing if they do agree on money. But as it seems now, Manchester United seem to actually have more money than we thought, because whereas we know United wanted to sort all departments, it reached a point where it looked like United were giving up on certain areas that they did want to sort, like especially the defensive, the defensive position, but also the central midfield position. But as it seems now, it seems Erik Ten Hag is silent, but has a plan going on. And I told you weeks before that behind closed doors, it's clear that John Mata and Erik Ten Hag and the team are working. And I told you again on the 8th of June, if you didn't watch that video, and I dropped a video when it looked like Kim Min-jae had agreed with United, but then it was a bit sketchy, and there was a belief that Bayern Munich could come in and take over the interest in Kim Min-jae, which eventually happened. I told you how United were looking at defenders from France, and at that time I mentioned Axel Disasi. So I have that video from the 8th of June. You can type Axel Disasi on this channel, and you will see more about him and his style. But for me, this coming out now, and Fabrizio Romano, we all know for a fact that, and I like the fact that he's the one who has mentioned this, that he's not one who will just go and give transfer news without proper sources. He's not excited to get following without proper sources. So it is obvious that this is a credible source, and again confirms what I told you weeks before, that Axel Disasi is the plan B that Ten Hag is focused on after giving up on Kim Min-jae. And now it is re-emerging that in fact United has been holding talks on the players' side for weeks. Now, Disasi plays for Monaco. He's 25. He's a centre back who can also play as a right back. He can score some goals as well. He has, I think, scored 3 goals for Monaco in the last season. He's also wanted by Newcastle. So there is a battle. Newcastle have arrived late to make contact with him, but there is a sort of a battle for him, which looks to be exciting. And I see Alex Bright there. That's my brother Alex Bright. I don't know, Alex Bright, I think you should be in Abu Dhabi. I don't know whether you're back home, but if you're still in Abu Dhabi, you can let me know. I hope everything is nice. Good to see you on. He's a Chelsea fan though, but he's my brother from way back. Alex Bright, good to see you. Big up on yourself. Now, let's look on it. So Manchester United are serious. Now, this for me, the news from Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United are in advanced stages of talks with Axel Disasi, for me, shows me one thing, that maybe actually Manchester United has got more money than we all think. Maybe United actually has more money than we think, because think about it. You don't think this could come out first of all, that Manchester United are in advanced talks with Axel Disasi, if they don't have money like we've been made to believe. because we know that what is guaranteed that United has, I think this one is known, to spend is 120 million pounds. But for them to be in advanced talks, and of course they are yet to go and bid on the team side, they have been advanced with the player side. He's actually excited to join Man United. I wonder what Newcastle is up to. I don't know what gives them the thought that because they have a lot of money they can beat Manchester United for a signing. I think Eddie Howe is overrating himself and the money they have anyhow. But anyway, serious matters. So I do think United has got more money to spend, and I'm sort of preparing myself psychologically for a surprise. I think actually we might sign more than 3 players. What I know a guarantee, of course, we've signed Mason Mount. Onana will be signed before the close of this week. I think we'll sign Rasmus Højlund, unless Atalanta play stubborn and they refuse to go down on their asking price. But I have no doubt that Manchester United is advanced, and personal terms have been agreed between Rasmus Højlund and Manchester United. And I think it's only in their interest. I think it is in Atalanta's interest to let go of him, because even the player is excited to join United. He's a Manchester United supporter anyway. So those are the 3 departments that I think are given. United will obviously sign players. But we had disquiets on whether we'll have enough funds to sign Sofian Amrabat, or a holding midfielder, a backup for Casemiro, and a centre-back who we needed. But after, I think, assessing his squad with the injuries to Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez, but also the fact that, you know, Harry Maguire is a nobody, really. You don't count him as your player, yet he's a top earner. I think Erik ten Hag has found ways of getting the money to at least to ensure he can buy another centre-back. And Disasi is priced at about 40 million or thereabout. He's priced at most 40 million euros or thereabout, which shouldn't be too much money. Of course, it could be matched if we don't have. But the fact that United have been going on and bidding for these players, rather than speaking to the players' side, I think it shows you that perhaps they have the money. You can't waste your time and that of the player, interesting them and exciting them if you're Man United, if you know you don't have the sources or the funds to go on. So actually, I now think United could sign Disasi, like I did believe back then on the 8th of June when I dropped you this video. I do actually strongly believe that it's still on, and I had lost hope, to be honest, but Fabrizio has just resurrected my hope, and I feel like this is going to be a more complete summer transfer window than we could ever imagine. But it's, I think, impressive, because we're talking of a centre-back who can play as right-back as well. That's important, because surely, whereas Wan-Bissaka improved himself in a bit, I think towards the end of last season, Diogo Costa signed a 4-year contract extension and all. I don't think they are still players, you know, that Erik ten Hag will bank on 100%. So Disasi, I think, being able to play both centre back and right back, I think would come in and slide right into the starting team. He's I think a more complete play, a defender than both of them. Can also add a lot in that centre back position. He's mature at 25, so I think he would be a decent option for Man United. And Senoga Ramanzan, I'm seeing you saying good evening, bro. Good evening. And I also see someone comedy for they saying Mount is a waste of money. Then someone saying we will have it, Fred and McTominay go, and we're going to talk about Fred and McTominay leaving in a bit, but also Harry Maguire. But guys, I do remind you guys on TikTok to go on YouTube and search Hotspot with Web and subscribe, because in about 5 minutes I will be going off TikTok and staying live on YouTube. So we will be on YouTube for another 1 hour before we go on to retire. But yeah, so first of all, the news from Fabrizio for me has proved to me that perhaps the money is there, and this could actually be a better summer transfer window than we might all have expected, which I think is a brilliant thing. But also, of course, Mandela Jr. saying big up Mr. Sebastien Mano. Any news from Anfield? Well, strictly want to talk about Manchester United for the most part, but let's see if I'll drop you some. Of course, I follow everything, so I will certainly tell you something about Anfield and Liverpool. Ebonila, how are you? How are you, Ebonila? I see you down on YouTube. But guys, now let's talk about where this money could be coming from, because as it seems for me clearly, United has got more money than we thought. But where is this money coming from? Of course, we know the players United wants to sell. But today, earlier on today, and it's in one of my recent videos where we spoke about Fred and how he's switching agencies from his, perennial agent to a new agent, that is Patinetti, who is the same agent of Gabriel Jesus. And of course, this is a top agent because, I mean, if this is a guy who was able to talk Arsenal into paying Gabriel Jesus close to £270,000 per week, almost £300,000 per week. Now that's a record for Arsenal. It's I think largely unheard of for Arsenal to pay a player that kind of money, So it shows you he's a top agent. Now, I want to credit Fred, and he's wanted by Fulham. I think if there's one player who has clearly attracted some attention of teams, it's Fred in United. Of all the flops we have, I think besides Jadon Sancho, who we are undecided probably on whether you want to let him go or not, but he returned a bit overweight for preseason, and we'll talk about that a bit. But I think most of our flops who we want out have failed to attract a single even interest from Saudi. So that shows you how bad they are. But Fred at least has been, and I don't want to classify Fred as a flop, to be honest, but he has attracted the interest from Saudi, but also interest from Fulham. In fact, Fulham are believed to be planning to table their initial bid. Remember, United value him at around £20 million. I mean, he's 30. So he has got 1 year left on his contract that ends in 2024. But for me, I like the character he has. That for him, he's not about the money, because Fred is earning 120,000 quid per week. But he knows for a fact that at his age, I think 31 or 30, he will not attract the same wages anywhere except at United. But he's saying, whereas I will have to take a pay cut wherever I go. If he goes to Fulham, obviously Fulham cannot pay £120,000 for Fred per week. Even if he went to Saudi, who are interested in him, I'm not thinking they would match that. But he's saying it's not about the money. I want to play football, and that's a footballer. I want to be on the pitch. He would choose to comfortably stay for 1 year and earn his 120k, be most on the bench for the most part. But he has got the character of a guy who wants to be out there playing. Now, this is what Harry Maguire has failed to do. He's earning £189,000 per week. He's a fifth option of a centre-back, and he's the captain. How disgraceful would it be? Why doesn't he do what Fred does? Switch agencies around and try to get an agent who is going to vend you to a club where you've got to be playing. He might be resting on his laurels, knowing that he's a starter in Gareth Southgate's team, but this can only happen for so long, because last season, Harry Maguire started more games for England than he did for Manchester United. He's the captain of United and he wasn't injured. Can you imagine? So that cannot go on for so long. At some point, if Gareth Southgate keeps playing him, he will make one mistake like this and the whole of UK will be calling for his head. So I think that the best thing for Harry Maguire should be him putting in the transfer request to leave United. Forget about the money. He has earned his money for doing nothing since he joined in 2019 from Leicester City. He came for a world record fee. Let him leave with his 30. He can't win the Premier League again, obviously. Even if United did, and he said and United won it, he will probably have no part to play in that. So the best thing for him, if he loves the badge, this beloved Man United badge, should be for him to leave Manchester United. But for some reason, I feel like he's comfortable, and he's saying he wants to return and hold talks with the manager. Talk about what? If the players like Fred and Donny van der Beek are showing you the way, they know they can't get playing time, yet they're earning 120,000. Both of them earn £120,000 per week. But they are saying it's not about the money. Van der Beek also is trying to look for a club to sign him. AS Roma had hinted they want him and all. But Maguire is waiting for him to be embarrassed. They are stripping him of his captaincy. What is he waiting for? So for me, I feel like Harry Maguire should do what Fred and Donny van de Beek are doing. He should be the one to come in and put in that transfer request. Leave Manchester United, because he's not worth £189,000 per week. Yet even Luke Shaw can play a better centre-back than him. I had never seen Luke Shaw play centre-back until we were playing, I think it was Manchester City. Harry Maguire is there, but Luke Shaw is playing centre-back ahead of him, and he performed even better. So I feel like the honourable thing for Maguire to do should be to leave. If he leaves, then perhaps those are the money sources that Eric Ten Hag is thinking of when he goes on to talk to players like Axel Disasi. Because if we are going to sign all players in this department, United has got to be able to sell. We don't think even if the takeover happened tomorrow, I don't think they would still get them. Even if Sheikh Jassim took over the club tomorrow, I don't think they would still have so much money. It would impact much on the money they have. They will still have to sell players. So I feel like the fact that now we are talking of Axel Disasi, perhaps those are signs that the sale of players could be going on soon, and maybe then we will be able to bid for other players to come in. So I think it's going to be a positive few days to come for Manchester United. Aumo Moses, I see you. Hello, bro. Any updates? Yes, I think that's what I'm doing if you're listening carefully. Joseph Ogbodu, hello. Yes, I see you. How are you guys? How are you doing? But also on TikTok, I see guys here. I see, okay, quite a number of guys, of people here on TikTok. I'm seeing someone from Wachiso Giants. Mandela Jr., that's a brother from another mother. Mvawachiso, apart from beloved Manchester United, any news from Wachiso Giants too? Well, Mvawachiso, where I'm class. Be in class, my brother. Okay. We will have if Fred and McTominay go. Well, guys on YouTube, be easy. I'm multitasking. We are live both on YouTube and on TikTok. But I think guys on TikTok, you need now to go on YouTube. Let me put you off. We're done for now with you guys on TikTok. Go on YouTube, subscribe, and let's continue talking about Manchester United there. But yeah, so that's again the situation, guys, going on with Manchester United. Now let's go back to the other news that's happening at Manchester United. Now I spoke about how the plan is to strip Harry Maguire of his captaincy. I feel like this happened long time ago. I feel like it's nothing new. Okay, how do they end this live now, guys? Oh, I've got it. Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. So Joseph Ogbodu, Manchester United pay Harry Maguire off his. Okay, Bayern has tabled a second bid for Harry Maguire, not Harry Kane. But Bayern has tabled a second bid for Harry Kane, 80 million pounds, including add-ons. They are hoping that Daniel Levy would respond to this one positively. But I wish them well. Let them deal with Daniel Levy. I've told you before. I keep telling you how Sir Alex Ferguson said dealing with Daniel Levy is more painful than replacing your hip rather. So let them enjoy the pain. But let's go on, guys. So you look at the Manchester United summer and how it's going, and you feel like perhaps it won't be so bad after all. Whereas the takeover has affected and taken away a lot away from this whole Manchester United project in this summer. You feel like Erik ten Hag, and to give it to him, he and his team are sort of managing it. They are sort of holding it. I feel like it's a good thing. It's promising that we are going for players, and this is Manchester United, and this is something I've been ranting here, about for the longest time. That if we are Manchester United, even if we don't have the money, we should be confident enough to go for the players we want, bid for them. Yes, make a case, go and disorganize the window. Don't just fold, sit back and fold. That's not the character of Man United. We've got to be aggressive and going out there and be involved in the big conversations for the biggest players in the world. So I love that we are going toe-to-toe with Newcastle, for example, for Axel Disasi. That is how United is supposed to be. We shouldn't be shy to go and bid for the big players. So I feel like that's a good thing. Anolin Aliguma, welcome. Good to see you again. Hello, good evening. How many players do you think United would sign this summer? Guarantee given 3. Mason Mount done, Onana done, and Rasmus Højlund I think is more than 90% done. It's a question of time. Those 3 for me are given. But with what's emerging and the source for me, without a doubt, my most credible source when it comes to transfers is, in all honesty, not even Sky, it's Fabrizio Romano. And he has hinted that he has mentioned, like I've, by the way, I think this one I broke before him. So again, yeah, Mandela called me the Ugandan Romano or the African Romano. I'll take it. But yeah, so he did mention, Fabrizio did mention that Manchester United has been in talks for weeks with on the personal side with Axel Disasi. But I've said this. I first posted this video on the 8th of June. Today is July what? July 9th. So that's 1 month and 1 day ago. So I can perhaps start demanding for some credit, but you know, you guys rarely want to give me my credit, but it's okay. It's okay. But anyhow, yeah. But again, Fabrizio. So for me, after getting it from Fabrizio, I think it's so likely that United will sign Disasi. Of course, Newcastle with the money they have, maybe the only reason we could fail would be if Newcastle brought crazy money, because now Disasi agreed to join United. The personal terms were positive, but then it's not just about him. It's now the clubs to agree. Now, if it's the money that obviously Newcastle might have more money to spend on Disasi than we do, so maybe that is where we would fail. But I think the most we would buy this in this summer, I think, is 5 players. I still think we could sign it. I don't see, to be honest, if there is more money to spare, I would be shocked if Manchester United signed Axel Disasi, signed Rasmus Højlund. Of course, Onana and Mason Mount are done, but don't sign a backup for Casemiro. If we are talking about Axel Disasi now, for me then, and I'm just trying to reason this out, I think it's obvious that United will sign a holding midfield, a backup for Casemiro. Because I don't think at all that Axel Disasi, centre-back, is a bigger priority for United than a backup for Casemiro. I don't think so, and you can give me your opinion on that. I feel like we need a backup for Casemiro, and of course you can talk of Amrabat and well, but also the fact that we are beginning to sell Fred, I think, will be sold. I wonder why Scott McTominay is also not putting in his transfer request. I feel like we might sell a few players, and when we sell those, we will be able to buy a centre-back, Disasi, and a central midfielder, a central defensive midfielder. So, at most, and this is Aliguma Anolin who asked, I think at most United could sign 5 players in this summer. At least we could sign 3. And the 3 are a goalkeeper, Mason Mount, and a striker, Rasmus Højlund. That's my honest opinion. Ebonila, Maguire himself knows United can reap nothing from him, but he's just ashamed to go away, more so after wasting such a huge record, £80 million. Now imagine, I think somewhere in his contract, and I think I had a video about it a few weeks ago, somewhere in Maguire's contract, I think United might have to pay him to go. There is a clause in his contract where they might have to pay him to go. But also his contract, I think, speaks of his salary increasing when he returns to the Champions League. I think that's why now, if he stays, he will be earning £200,000 per week. But what contribution did Maguire have in United returning to the Champions League? Tell me, what role did he have in that? Tell me. But yeah, well, he's just shameless. I wonder. But again, the issue is he's on big wages. He's comfortable. No one wants him, so we are stuck with him. So I think I feel like this should be a lesson, to be honest. I feel like United has got a lot of overpaid players, and we can dwell a lot on Maguire, but Maguire is not even close to the top earners at United. Talk of a player like Jadon Sancho, who returned. Okay, I was almost going to use the word fat, but I think it's too bad. He returned big, overweight from pre-season. So you've been 2 years, you are signed for 75 million quid. You've done nothing at the club. You're on off season, and you choose to eat because he's earning £350,000 per week for nothing. Instead of coming and working on you're not a Ronaldo Dalima. Ronaldo, I think, is the only player who would return fat from preseason but still have to play football. And score and bang in the goals. Now you're Jadon Sancho, you're not even close to your best. You chose to go to off-season and you return big, huge. I saw an image of him, and I'm thinking, what's happening? Wait, in a few weeks we'll be getting these reports. It will be official. Of course, because he's British, I know the British media is sort of protecting it. Is sort of protecting him. But if you are not, I'm sure there will be news all over of how he's returning overweight. You saw what they did to Eden Hazard. So I feel like it's sad. So if you've got players like him earning 350k, Rafael Varane is also earning, I think, 340k, but he's mostly injured. But for me, for Varane, when he's on the pitch, he performs. Injuries, of course, we bought him injured because we knew, even in his last days at Real Madrid, he was always injured. But we bought him perhaps because of his leadership, the fact that he has won multiple Champions League titles, he has won the World Cup. what Varane brings to United is more him and Casemiro. Of course, Casemiro now is United's best player by far. He's up there as the best, most important player for United right now. We saw what happened when he was injured, and that's why we insist there should be a backup for him. He's by far the best, most important player at United. Not even Marcus Rashford, for me, not Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro is the most important player in the United squad right now. We can take that to the bank. Debate with yourself if you want to. I said it. That's what I think. Give me your opinion. But Varane and his contribution to United is beyond playing. Even when he's sick, he is a leader. And United lacks leader. Imagine Maguire was the captain. Need I explain how the lack of leadership at United if Maguire was captain for the longest time? Since 6 months after he arrived in 2019, he's been captain. How many years are those? That's if you've got a weak captain, if you don't have a leader who Maguire can't lead even I think the Kidsman at Carrington. So the team lacked leadership, and if we had to pay 340k a week to get the leadership in the club, I don't mind it because we needed it, and Raphael Varane does that impeccably well. Even Didier Deschamps was praising him in the French team in that dressing room. We've seen him even in the World Cup when they were winning it, how he was in that back line and talking up his teammates. He's a leader, and that leadership for me, it's okay to give him 340k. When he's fit, he plays. When he's not, he's helping his teammates. He's providing leadership. And he's also, of course, has got a few years left. But also we knew he was injured when we were buying him. We knew that. He was never fit at Real Madrid in the last days of his stay there. So, for me, but Jadon Sancho, 350k, doing nothing. Anthony Dos Santos is still now being shielded by these Jadon Sanchos and the Maguires and what. But he will be exposed when they leave. He's earning, I think, 100. He's earning, I think, what? Let me check. I need to give you the right figure. But I'll get back to him when I get the right figure for Anthony Dos Santos. But so that's the thing. But I feel like this experience for United should be a learning lesson for whoever becomes the CEO or the football director after John Mata when Sheikh Jassim takes over. Because without doubt, I think John Mata and Darren Fletcher, the technical director, and Richard Arnold, who is the club's whatever CEO, they are not staying. I would be shocked if they stayed. They are not staying. There is no way, absolutely no way, they will stay for 1 week when Sheikh Jassim takes over. Joseph Ogbodu, if Harry Maguire wishes to stay in Manchester United, then let Manchester, by paying him some $50,000 weekly. That's all. For what? 50,000 quid to do what? $50,000, you're even saying dollars. To do what? To be fifth option of a defender? No way. And remain the captain? No way. There is the best thing. The only way for Maguire is out of Old Trafford. That's the only way. There is only one way for him, one route for him to take out. He has done what he's done. He had some good games, by the way. Give it to him. In the first, I think he even made a record. He had a record number of consecutive clean sheets, I think, at Old Trafford. Was it 13 or something? Then he was there for a few games and we missed him a bit. Let's be honest. There are some good days he have, but whatever happened after, and maybe later on when he retires, he will open up on what happened. But you can never understand. But why did he lose his confidence at Man United? Yet he still plays for England. You can never understand what happened. And Olina Liguma, Maguire should be benched for the whole season for him to understand that he's not a Erik Ten Hag player. Whose player is he? Whose player is he? Not even just Ten Hag. Whose player? I don't think he can play for Maroons or Police Football Club in Uganda. I don't think to play what? I don't think he would be paid 50,000 shillings to play for Maroons Football Club in Uganda. He's bad. No team is flattering him. No serious team is flattering him. No serious team is flattering. Even in Saudi, he's 30. That's the right age for you to go to Saudi and make money. If you in your CV you've won the Premier League and been a United captain, you would think they will be fighting Al Nassr, Al Ettifaq, name them. They would all be fighting for his signature. But even Al Ettifaq doesn't give one, F about him. No team does want to know about Harry Maguire. What does that mean? That's how bad he is. And you think we pay that one $50,000 to be able to do what? United should not be a collecting place for nobodies. If you're at United, think about the team that won the treble in 1999. we are in a generation where another team, the noisy neighbors, have won the treble. So our ambition for United, success for Eric Ten Hag, will be us winning the treble again, reclaiming it from Man City. Now, when we won the treble with Sir Alex Ferguson in 1999, if you remember the squad we had, for those who were there or who even cared to research and know about that team had depth. Every player on that team was a potential starter. Every player in that team. We had about 4 strikers, midfield. We won finals without Roy Keane. I think it was the final of the Champions League final. There was no Roy Keane, there was no Paul Scholes in that game. If my memory is serving me right, that's the final. They were both out of the game. I think Roy Keane had a red card. It was either the Champions League final against Bayern or the semi-final with, I think, Juventus. But the whole point is we've always had depth. I think there was a Buddy Wick who started the game and all. Yeah, the FA Cup which we won. When we beat that game, we beat Arsenal. We didn't have some of our star players, but there was depth in the squad. We need depth now. Even if you're going to be on the bench, and Maguire can comfortably be on the bench, he's a calamity, like Joseph Ogbodu put it. Harry Maguire is a calamity to Manchester United. Thank you. Harry Maguire should leave. I don't know if anyone of you watching from the UK, if you're watching this, share this video to wherever closer to him. Let him see it. I don't care. Harry Maguire should leave Manchester United. If David De Gea, a legend, absolute legend, respected, God bless you, could live in the manner he left, winning the Golden Glove, and he's kicked out like a used, TP. What on earth is Harry Maguire doing, earning 200k because he returned to the Champions League? For what? What is he doing even being on the bench? He should leave. He should leave. Go wherever. Go back to Sheffield where he grew up. He has done his part. It's dusted. It's now time to clean up. The players have got to deserve to put on this jersey. They have got to deserve, because at this rate, I think even my brother can play better than some of these players. Today, and let me get you the images. Today, early morning, I had an early morning today. Let me just tell you the story about me today. So today I had an early morning. My little brother, Enoch, was going to sign his a contract with a club, a local club here that wanted him, and so I escorted him. Of course, he asked me to. I had to go with him as a witness, as big brother. Also I want to get the images for you and share them with you if you don't mind. But he's a midfielder. He's left-footed. He's a midfielder. He's good. But as he was signing, I was thinking, but actually, why on earth? The one thing on my mind was, why on earth is Scott McTominay earning £60,000 per week? I think my brother can play better, holding midfield than him. That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking, no. So I feel like and it's the same thing. And well, I'm not saying that Scott McTominay is as bad as Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is in a special place, frankly. But even Scott McTominay, what is he doing? He's young. He's 26. That should be his prime age for a midfielder. What is he doing, chickening out and being silent, waiting for... He's hoping they don't reach him. He's hoping the axe doesn't get to him, because the focus is not on him now. He thinks we've forgotten about him. But Scott McTominay has done a lot of nothing. He's there. You're not sure which is his right position to play. Even when he's there, he's not... he has failed to apply himself. Those are not players for Manchester United. There should be competition in all positions at Manchester United. From the goal, the second goalkeeper that will come in, if it's Dean Henderson, whoever, has got to be able to try and compete and push Andre Onana. David De Gea has been on top of his game because, and for the most part, he was on top. He had a Sergio Romero, who was a potential number 1 at United. In fact, if you remember, David De Gea would make one mistake and people are thinking, why isn't Sergio Romero starting the next game? So that is the competition we need, from goal to defense, to midfield, to striking position. There should not be any bench warmers at Manchester United. That's not who we are. That can happen at these small teams like Arsenal, those small upcoming clubs, Arsenal, Chelsea, name them, those little teams, wannabe teams. But for a club like Manchester United, the biggest football club in the world, there should be competition in every position. Every position should have two world-class players. Look at Manchester City. What Manchester City has now is what Man United should have, because that's what we had when we were winning titles. That's what we had. Every player should be able to come in and play. But right now we have bench warmers who are on 350k per week. What's that? Brian Man, but at least McTominay is a fighter, unlike these other mediocre players. There is nothing like fighting and what. The end justifies the means. Your fighter, he fights and then does what and wins what. He's not up to it. He's not at the Man United level. He's a fighter who fits in West Ham, Everton, Tottenham. Let him go and fight in those teams. At United, we don't want fighters. We want footballers. I don't think he is up to that. Joseph Ogbodo, seeing Harry Maguire in Manchester makes me angry. Yeah, well, clearly, like most of us. But yeah, Maguire is going to live like Ronaldo left. Well, he's going to be stripped of his captaincy. At least now, if he doesn't, I'm one of those people who believe in non-verbal communication. For me, I take more what people do than what they say. That's me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I read more into what people do and what they actually say to me, because they say actions speak louder than words, I think. So, but also I love reading non-verbal. For me, if I were Maguire, I would see that Eric Ten Hag is done with me. By the time these reports are leaking, these reports don't come from nowhere. This is British media reporting that he's going to be stripped of captaincy. But it was already done. By the time you're the captain of the club and you're not even second priority, even if you're the bench, but you're not even second priority. We've had a game where Luke Shaw started in centre back and he was fit and on the bench. They give the captain's armband for the most part of the season to Bruno Fernandes and at times David De Gea. What more communication do you need? That's why I'm asking, what talks is Harry Maguire going to have with Eric Ten Hag? What's there to talk about? Isn't it all clear in black and white that they want him out? Oh, I don't think he's slow like that. I don't think he's slow like that. He's slow with his feet. I don't want to think he's slow with his head like that. Nolin Aliguma, shockingly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Dalot could be shown the exit following Eric Ten Hag reviving Frimpong interest. Yes, talk about Jeremy Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong, guys, let me tell you about this boy. Jeremy Frimpong, that boy from is it Bayer Leverkusen? He's a legend. He's a baller. He's a proper baller. We're talking a boy who scored 8 goals and assisted 7 times playing as a right back. I think the last player to do something close to that was Cafu. There were 2. I think Cafu and Alves, Dani Alves. Those are the only 2 right backs I can think of who could do that. Now, these are the players Eric Ten Hag would like. Now, Bissaka has tried to rejuvenate himself. Dalot was given a good corner. Dalot is credited for his work rate. And if you remember when Cristiano Ronaldo was leaving, he mentioned that the only one young player who has the mentality to play at United, who has the work rate, is Diogo Dalot. Probably that's why things changed and was even given a contract extension, maybe. And we saw him transform and trying to improve. But, again, if you're playing the way Eric Ten Hag plays, if you've got Onana, if you've got Andre Onana in your goal, you need defenders, full-backs or left and wing-backs or full-backs who are very good on the ball. You need a number 2 and a number 3 who are very good on the ball, because they are going to be getting a lot of that ball from Onana. Leave alone David De Gea, who will just kick one-route football. Leave alone David De Gea, who will just kick it straight, that one-route English football. Onana is a ball player. So he has got to involve you in play more times than not. So you need guys who are good on the ball. So that is why Jeremy Frimpong would make a lot of sense for Eric Ten Hag and what he's trying to build. Wan-Bissaka and Diogo Dalot, their final ball isn't good. Bissaka's final ball is terrible. It was trying to improve, but it's still terrible. But we are talking of a right back, Frimpong, the Dutchman, who scored 8 goals playing as a right back and assisted 7 times. Guys, that's unheard of. We are talking of a Cafu, of a Dani Alves right here. This is the kind of player we're talking about. That player should be in United. So for me, I'm sold. They should be signing him even before Axel Disasi. But because we need goals, we need entertainment, we need to look at our team playing good and scoring goals from all corners. That's what we need. So Brian Mann is saying another chap I dislike is Martial. Yes, and I think we are now at a point of no mercy. I think United has been so lenient on Martial. We know the talent and potential he has got, but judging by the last games he played last season, clearly, he's even tired of himself. He has lost any ounce of confidence in him. In front of goal, he's failing to score goals my son here can score. So, I think for me, Martial, because of injuries and what, he should leave. The best thing, but again, who would buy Martial? Who would buy? Tell me, Brian Mann, who would buy if you were the chairman of a football club in Saudi Arabia? Would you be paying any money for Martial, a guy who spends a half of or 3/4 of the season in the medical room? I don't think so. So again, we've got so many players we want to let go of. They are on comfortable contracts. We are struggling to get rid of them. Dalot, I think, has potential. That's why his contract was extended. Yes, he has. But again, like I said, we are not about potential now. He can stay, and I'm not saying Dalot should leave. He can stay as a backup. But, man, I'm talking a right back Frimpong who is scoring 8 goals in a season and assisting 7. Boss, don't tell me about potential. We need world class. World class, you beat class with class. You don't beat class with potential. Now we are having potential. Someone with the potential as our number 9 in Rasmus Højlund. Man City has Erling Haaland, world class. Yeah? We are having who? Anthony and Jadon Sancho having potential in our flanks. Man City has Riyad Mahrez and whoever, or Bernardo Silva, or whoever they choose to put there. We are having a midfield of who? Mason Mount, who has apparent potential. Man City has Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, now for Casemiro, let me skip Casemiro. We are having Man City that has a John Stones in the back line. You're telling me about potential of whoever, Victor Lindelof or who? Or Maguire. Don't tell me about potential. We don't beat class with potential. Guys, I think United, we need to compare ourselves. We need to set the bar up so high. We need to be fighting Man City. Everything we do, we should be doing in comparison with Man City because they are the best team. Forget about Arsenal. Forget about Arsenal. The team to beat is Man City. They have touched the treble and they feel great. They couldn't even attract a half. They couldn't even feel the scent of Manchester when they won their treble. Small club. Very small club. Very small club. Anyway, let me not go into their side. I know there are Man City fans watching this. But yeah, so this small club is feeling like they have arrived on the table of men. We should put them in their place. But for us to do that, first the Glazers should be out. We will never do that with the Glazers. Sheikh Jassim should come in. Sir Jim Ratcliffe will never achieve that. The first thing we need to do is get Sheikh Jassim in. Then sign world-class players in all positions. Have depth, world-class depth in all positions. So, for me, that's the most important thing. Oh, Siyama Kasuja, you're back. It's been a minute, sister. I hope it's a lady. Siyama, I sounds like a lady's name. I hope you're a lady. True, De Gea is good, but has a tendency of giving out possession every time he gets the ball. That's for a fact. That's for a fact. But do you blame him? He's been playing with Maguire in front of him, with Luke Shaw in centre back at times, with the midfield of Fred and Scott McTominay. Man, give the guy some credit. Give the guy some credit. The only thing De Gea doesn't have is the ability to play with the ball on his feet. Yet, the modern game today, modern coaches today want that kind of play. Reflect back to Pep Guardiola when he joined Manchester City. The first thing he did was to get rid of the best goalkeeper. At that time, when Pep Guardiola joined City, the best goalkeeper in the world was Joe Hart. But he just let go of him immediately because he couldn't play with the ball on his feet. The same thing. So De Gea is good. He was clearly the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. But he is not the modern goalkeeper, and it's unfortunate that you can't learn these things late. But he was able to start in goal for 12 years. So earning £375,000 per week. So yes, generations change, goalkeepers, the styles change in football. In the future, maybe we can go back to having short stoppers strictly in goal, but the game has changed a bit. Anolina Alguma, can you talk about Jao Felix loan? Oh, thank you for reminding me about that. I was meant to talk about it. I've got 7 minutes. Thank you, Nolin. You're lovely. Now, you're a legend, Anolin. You're an absolute legend. So, let's talk about Yao Felix. So now, Yao Felix is linked. Remember, he flat out failed at Chelsea. In the first place, I wonder why on earth he chose to go to Chelsea. Maybe other teams did not show interest. I wonder why he wasn't at United. But he failed badly, and you won't blame him. It's not that he's a bad player. I think it's the whole structure. Chelsea was in shambles, worse than United. That's why he's going into a rebuild now. But I think Yao Felix would be a good loan move for United. But I think it would cost us money. I don't think we would get him for free on loan. I think we would have to pay close to 15-20 million pounds for us to get him, 10 to 20 million pounds for us to get him on loan. Would that be a good business at this time when we are crying about money? Excuse me, I don't think so. I think, whereas I would be excited, it would be a good addition. It would be a good addition. I don't think we have the luxury of the money. If we get the money, if we sell these flops to whoever cares to take them, and we have some extra 10 million, I think we can then approach Atletico and try to sign him on loan. But under the circumstances we are in, I think Yao Felix, I love him. I think he would be good, perfect, I think, for United and our attack. But I don't think we have the money, and I don't think he should be the priority now. He's not your natural number 9. Yes, he's a forward, but can play on the wings and what. He's more of an attacking midfielder than a number 9, and yet we need a number 9. So would you spend your 10 million pounds on him to come on loan, or would you rather add that 10 million to get Rasmus Højlund, who is being overpriced? So it's a bit of a difficult situation to be Erik ten Hag. So yeah, whereas I think it would be good, but I don't think we've got the funds to spend on him. Brian, you people, we had Van der Sar who did wonders and left. What all about De Gea who was... Listen, Brian, man, no one... I've been saying it here. David De Gea had to leave. It was the best thing for him. He was not good enough. The reservations were with the way he was treated when he was leaving. No one, I don't know anyone... Okay, there are a few people who... Even, I wouldn't mind if he stayed as a number 2, really. Because he's even better than all the other number 1s in the Premier League. But the issue was not in him leaving or not having to leave. The issue was in the manner he was treated while he was leaving. That's the only issue. So don't compare Van der Sar. We had Van der Sar who left. Of course, everyone has to. You don't stay for 12 years. I think Van der Sar was at United for what, 8? Even less. Same Schmeichel was also there at less than 10 years. So it's not about him not leaving or leaving. He was there. He even overstayed his good probably. But the manner in which he left was the issue. The manner in which he left was the issue. Brian Mann, we give them Van der Beek and add 10 million for Yao Felix. The 10 million is the issue. Would they even want to take Van der Beek anyway? But the 10 million is the other issue. Forget about even the Van der Beek. But the 10 million is the other issue. Do we have that luxury to spend 10 million to get a player on loan? Do we have that luxury? When we are struggling to finalize a bid for Nana, a world-class goalkeeper, best goalkeeper in Europe right now, take it to the bank. But the difference is, I think, 4 million pounds. That's what taking us back and forth. That's why we haven't sealed him yet. I know we will eventually do, but I don't think, for me, Yao Felix would be the top priority. I think he should come as the last option. If we've got an extra 10 million to spend, then we can go ahead and get him. But let us first sort the striker, CDM, goalkeeper of course is done. Centre back would be again ahead of him. And then we can think of Yao Felix, getting him on loan for 10 million. That's what I think. I've got 2 minutes to leave, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this live. It's been a busy day. Today was more about venting and hitting these guys who don't want to leave, who are comfortable taking our money for nothing. I hope this video lands on some of them so that they get to understand that this club is loved by so many, and we've got to be serious with these players. But yeah, that's where we are, guys. Axel Disasi Talks are advanced. He could be joining. He plays for Monaco. He He's 25, right back, rather center back who can play as a right back. He's mature, he can good going forward as well. So it's certainly good. Thank you guys for being through. Joseph Ogbodu and the lads saying peace. I also say peace to you. And yeah, and of course the other people who have kept coming on and going off, thank you so much for, of course, keeping it the hot spot. But yeah, guys, you go and listen to that video. I think you'll see it about Axel Disasi. If you don't know much about him, get to understand him. I posted that video on the 8th of June. It's possible that we'll get him. There is also a report coming through from a Daily Mail reporter that United is resurrecting interest in Moussa Diaby. That's the Bayer Leverkusen player, Moussa Diaby, who is quite good. He's a forward. He scored 14 goals and assisted 11 times in all competitions for Bayer Leverkusen last season. He's quite a player, but he's highly priced. 65 million pounds. I think is quite much. He's young. He's 23. He's French, but I think that's a report that just came through from a reporter called Kajumba. That is from the Daily Mail. So even this one saying, Siyama Kasuja saying, I guess column 1 would do us wonders at United. You're talking about expensive players. You're talking about very expensive players. Please. I don't think we have the money. But also, I mean, because column 1 is priced at about 86 million pounds, 100 million euros by Eintracht Frankfurt. And I'm thinking, this boy is not even proven. He failed to win the World Cup for France. If he had scored that goal, the winning goal against Emiliano Martinez, maybe it would make sense to even bid for him for 50 million. But you're talking of a player who is not even proven yet, and you're pricing him at 86 million. I think that's a complete nonsense from Bayern. They need to style up. Anolin Aliguma Web, don't you think the Glazers are willing to stay following the signing they are making? Well, of course, they certainly are the ones in charge. They sanctioned this, but guys, for me, to be honest, this takeover talk is sort of giving me bad anxiety, and I think for my mental health, and I'm into mental health stuff and all, I think I don't want to ever think of it. I feel like the Glazers are shameless. I feel like they were just overpricing the club, thinking no one would come and bid for it. Then they were shocked to see Sheikh Jassim come in, and now they are all pretending to be divided as a family. Some wants to sell, some don't, but I feel like they all probably don't want to sell, and it's their club. I mean, I feel like it's only with the fans who can force them out. I don't know how, but there is always a way. Where there is a will, they say there is a way. Let us wait. Let us give it time for the season to start when they are still there. Let us see Avram Ojoel Glazer turn up at Old Trafford one more time. I think the way will be figured out. But I don't think we'll get to that. I think they are going to go out of the club. I think they know the best thing, unless if they say they won't turn up at Old Trafford. But I think this time they will feel the wrath of the supporters. So, but yeah, clearly they don't want to sell, but they will sell eventually anyway. So someone spoke about the Benfica forward, Goncalo Ramos. That is, I think, Brian Mann. He does score goals as well, but I feel like we've been all over scattered, linked to this player, the other, this one, this. I think now we know the players we are really serious about. When it goes to forwards, there is Rasmus Højlund, who we've agreed personal terms with. We will be bidding for him, I'm sure. So I don't want to go into some of these other players that are being mentioned, because then it will take us back. But I would rather stick to the players we've been linked to for weeks and weeks of this transfer window, quite frankly. But also I would rather leave it here, because we've got to all retire and get prepared for this new week. That is going to come with so much news, so much breaking stories, so many breaking stories and everything. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Thank you. We talk Man United here every day. Enjoy the rest of the videos. I will be happy if you watch the video about Axel Disasi, in case you don't know much about him, because he could be the next signing after Onana, Rasmus Højlund. We might be signing Axel Disasi. So yeah, check it out if you have the time. Guys, good night. Peace. See you. Love you all.